Hello and welcome to Buckshot Podcast for the 27th of the 7th, 2017. My apologies, I'm typically out on a Wednesday morning, but this was, the fucking week was all over the shop, lads. It was all over the shop. Things were moving, it was like the stairs in Harry Potter. It was all, Jesus Christ. Flexibility was the key this week. So my apologies. Not that I'm guessing anybody wasn't screaming, although I did get one or two tweets asking me where the fuck was it? Like I owed people something. I suppose I do. I've asked you to commit to this by subscribing. There was an exchange there, but thank you very, very much. If this is your first time, whatever you're listening to, whatever platform you're listening to, just subscribe to that. But I mean, we're on iTunes. We, as in me. The show's on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and typically I found it on other platforms too. So just, subscribe, share, tell everybody about it. Also, if you want to get in contact, tweet me on @BuckshotPod on Twitter. And if you want to send me something, if there's a question or something, something that heads up, you go, Tom, I think you're wrong there, and I need to tell you about it. Find it on Gmail. It's buckshotpodcast@gmail.com. So that's, as they say, the housekeeping out of the way. This was that was an enjoyable week since I heard you last. Since I talked to you last, I should say. I was in the Russian Dove last week with Buckshot, the show. Davey came over with me. I kind of got goosed a small bit. It was numbers weren't hectic enough. If I'm honest, there were a great crowd that did come in. They were brilliant crack. But the big thing was the fact that it was, I think Ryan something or other was playing up the road. Apparently there was 3,500 people went to see him in a tent up the road. So Ryan, what's his fucking name? I can't remember his surname. But in fairness, there was a bunch of shit playing. It was probably, I should have made myself a bit more exclusive and waited a week or two. But it was the only time that really suited to do it. But even still, though, it was great to actually get out the show. And a lot of new stuff came out. I ended up doing like an hour and 40 minutes because they were that good. And this is a show that's planned on being an hour. But around the hour mark, I was like, will we keep going? And people were like, yeah, we're grand. I mean, there was a bartender there, so it was grand. People were just popping up and down getting drinks. Lads offered me drinks in the middle of this. So all in all, it was actually a really enjoyable show. So thank you very much to the folks that came out to that. I was on shot the night before closing the show there. That was great crack. Just getting out to try out some new stuff as well. You get spoiled sometimes, like you'll be trying out new stuff in a place like On Shot and people are roaring laughing. You're kind of going, I don't know, is it that good, lads? But thank you very much for your attention. Like, sometimes comedians can get carried away with themselves. They're like, I'm fucking rocking it. That's a new bit that's going to rock. And then it doesn't. It falls on its hole. And it's because you get spoiled in these clubs that are just class, you know what I mean? But you can kind of leave the shackles off when you do On Show, because there's something about it that if there was 5 people in or 55 people in, it's a small little club. You can point out that weirdness straight away and everybody's on board straight away. So I was there, and then I had gigs up in Belfast, but they were kind of just, yourself, private gigs I talked about before, doing these things. There's nothing really to say about them. But one thing I noticed, I have never in all my life seen more caravans. What in the name of Jesus Christ is going on with the caravans up the fucking north? They fucking have you not heard of Airbnb? How can that thing be more cost effective? To go pulling that fucking thing, pulling the guts out of your car, because your car is going to be fucked after a couple of weeks of pulling that thing around the place. After just in a regular car, forget about it. The engine, everything, chassis, the whole lot's going to be bollocks. Oh my good Christ, everybody fucking driving around these things slow as shit. What the fuck? I mean, I don't get it. If anybody knows about the caravanny world, what there is, I mean, is it a hiding in plain sight fucking swinging club or something? I can't see it. I cannot see. You're fuck. I mean, I don't know what the crack is with the caravan. I don't know if I was ever inside a car. I know I was in a mobile home once. I think it was down in Wexford or some fucking thing. Jesus Christ. I was thinking I was out to assess an insurance claim for a company or something like that, but it seemed fucking bleak as shit. Everything is cramped. It's like you're trying to convince yourself that you're enjoying yourself. If I cramp myself into this undersized table, this undersized seat, this undersized bed, this undersized sofa, this undersized television, in a thing that kind of smells like the inside of a fucking prefab, I'm going to love it. It's got a new vista every day. New vista every day. Jesus, I don't... I don't know. I'm not slagging it off. I just don't get it. I mean, even camper vans, you're like, all right, I can drive around my actual... But you're still taking a shit in your car. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Can somebody explain that to me? If anybody knows the inside out kind of reasoning behind car, because it's not like a one or two, like these. I saw literally, I must have seen 100 of them on Sunday. Like fucking, and the cars down to their fucking axles, pulling the bollocks out of the cars. You know, the thing is drinking fucking fuel wherever you, because you put a caravan on the back of a car. If your car is doing like 60 miles to the gallon or whatever it is in kilometres, I can guarantee you that thing is doing like 15 to the gallon, pulling a big ass fucking house behind you. I don't know. I'd love to know. I'd love to know what the fuck it's about. If anybody knew, I would genuinely fill me in, because I've asked a few people who even have them and they can't even fucking fill me in. So if somebody knows, do fill me in. Speaking of car things, this is for smarter people out there that might know more than me. Like I think I was mentioning a couple of weeks ago that I saw Tesla charging points in Laois at a petrol station. 8 Tesla charging points in Laois. I mean, they were clean as a whistle. You know what I mean? Nobody had clearly, and nobody will be using them for a couple of years yet. It was foresight by, or either that, just massive optimism by people in is there 8 Teslas in the fucking country? I don't know. I mean, it's a good ploy, good idea, you know, but I wouldn't be inspired to go spend 120,000 on a car just because they have charging points in the Midlands for it. Like, but I saw a car yesterday. It was clearly a demo car, because it had ESB stuff written all over it, and it was a Nissan Leaf. And I pulled up to a charging point in Dublin just ahead of me, and there was a guy. I was on the fucking phone. I really wanted to get out and ask him, because I'm a nosy bastard. He'd all the ESB gear on him and everything. He jumped out of the car because he pulled up to this charging point that was on the pavement. He pulled up into the space, but written on stickers on the back was contactless charging. What the fuck is that about? Now, I know you can charge your phone on these little pads if you lie them down, but they have to make contact with it. What? The car didn't have to make contact. Like, the only part of the car was the tyres, and that would insulate. Electricity doesn't pass through that. So how the fuck is that magic happening? Like, he was a good 2 feet away from the actual charging pillar. Like, so you're telling me if I walk between that, some sort of fuck, I'm going to get, you know, become sterile or something if I walk between the car and this charging point? Like, how the fuck is that happening? Again, I'm not looking it up. I refuse to look these things up, because I think it's way more fun to get people angry at me and stuff and think, you're so stupid, Tom. This is how it happened. I just think that's way more, or just to come up with notions that it's just magic. I think it's way more fun. Why do we need to know the facts of everything? Just come up with fun notions of what I'm going with that. It's definitely going to be magic. So this weekend's gig's coming up tonight. Last night it was glorious. I was hosting on behalf of Colin Regan in the Patriots in Jokes. It's a monthly gig. If you live anywhere near the Kilmainham Dublin 8 district, or you're up there, check out that you might be in, because the lineups he always gets are fucking savage. Like, and Colin himself, like, I mean, he's one of the best comedians in the country. He'll be a podcast guest somewhere down the line. But he had me host for him last night, and the place, like the show doesn't kick off till 9:15. The place is packed at 8:15. Do you know what I mean? It was just, and it was. I thought, like, because the lineup had Al Porter, Kevin Gilday, and Aoife Dooley of Yoan Nikita fame. She has a book called Yoan Nikita, and it's illustrations. It's very, very funny stuff, and she actually won an award and everything. I'm not up to date on what award she won, but it was like 30 under 30, whatever, 30 for 30 or something like that. I don't know. Too young for me to know about it anyway, it would seem. But it didn't seem like, I thought they had a couple of fans coming or whatever, but they did. But the vast majority of people, to just give comedy its dues in Dublin 8, the vast majority of people were just showing up for a good night of comedy. They hadn't really looked into who was on or anything, so it was cool to see that. A lot of professionals too, but really good audience people. Like, they knew their role as a comedy audience. They knew, right, we're here to laugh and everything. There wasn't a weird kind of, oh, sure, I'll go. You know, you sometimes get clubs where it's a lot of people, or not even clubs, but just comedy nights where people haven't been to comedy before and they don't know the procedure, where they're to let all their shackles off. You know what I mean? People are very guarded, even laughing wise. They're like, oh, and it's only when they're about an hour in and a couple of pints in, they start laughing out loud. These people on point, they were ready to rock straight away. So it was a glorious and I was fucking roasting. I'd say I lost about 2 stone. But fuck it, that's all good. I did eat a pizza. I shared a pizza with John here, our guest today, like beforehand, and I don't know what it did to my system, but I kind of felt drunk. I kind of felt drunk after it. I had it just before our podcast, and I was like, I think the two of us were a bit lethargic. You might actually hear that. I mean, we're going to do another one again because John is just. It got a little noisy we recorded it in the club in the comedy club part of the Patriots Inn because it was just handy. He was passing through. He was after coming from a daytime gig over in Galway, and it was just a handy place to meet. But I think it got a little noisy. So the podcast itself, it's a bit more somber. Like, it's still John's still a class guest, like, because he's so much knowledge and he's still a funny bastard. Like, he's arguably one of the best club stand-ups in the country. Like, but we're going to do another one soon enough. He's going to come out here, and of course we're going to do barbecue. I might actually just start theming these, bring people out, because who doesn't love barbecue? Who wouldn't that put a good mood to? But this pizza, fuck me. I don't know. Maybe I think pizza's. I can't deal with it anymore. I got an Apache pizza. I think I'm saying this on the podcast, and I swear to God, I thought I was going to die. Maybe I can't handle pizza anymore, or maybe they're just 2 shit pizzas. I don't know. But yeah, I'm hoping this weekend, tonight actually. Sorry, I'm in Castlebar. I'm not driving for once. I don't have to drive. Paul Marsh is picking me up here at the house in a couple of hours' time. So I'm more excited about the drive than anything, but apparently it's a class new club. It's being run by Castlebar native Ger Staunton. Mate of mine, Danny O'Brien, the 2 lads that run this up, they sold it out. It sold out with the last week or so it should be class. I've heard great things about it. It's going to be enjoyable. Friday night then I'm going to be in the new Dublin Comedy Club, which is on O'Connell Street. I think it's downstairs at Flanagan's Bar. I did a bit there a couple of months back, and it's just a cracking room. It's myself and Garrod Farley are splitting the show, and George Fox will be hosting. So that'll be a good one. The Vodafone Comedy Festival is on this weekend. For the first time in 6 years, I think, I'm not actually on the lineup, which is fair enough, because it was put to me like, guys that have done it non-stop for the last, he says, do you mind if I take you off for the year, but I'll give you free passes and we'll have you back next year. So how do you argue with that? It's like, yes sir, you have paid me and everything for no problem, free passes. Turns out I'm after getting TJ Miller's passes as well. So I'm going to take the podcasting machine in there, but you don't want to be an awkward fucker. But I'm going to get a bit of chat with some people, see what way the weekend. I'm going to pop in hopefully Sunday. I might get in there before the gig on Friday, pop in and see who's about and all the rest. See, can I get maybe can we get a podcast out of a couple of 5-minute chats with people? I'm not making any promises. They may not all be interesting. That's a mean thing to say. They might be in the fucking mood either, you know, that kind of way. But definitely I'm going to try and get in there Sunday as well, but Saturday is my day, because I haven't had a Saturday off fully in ages. I mean, where I haven't had to be anywhere. Hopefully nothing has been scheduled for me that I don't know about, you know yourself. But I'm hoping I'm going to invite over a buddy of mine, Mog and Jenny. Mog used to produce a podcast before. He's an absolute dynamite. Gordon was talking about him in the last one. They've gone full off the grid. It's fucking class. They've got greenhouses, the whole lot. They've grown gazillions of peas, tomatoes, peppers and everything. So they've got too many of them right now. So they want me to take some off their hands. So I'm going all pilgrim here. I'm like, well, we got to barter here. We can't just fucking... So I really want to do a long form. I want to do a long cookout on Saturday. I want to do like 5-6 hour ribs and like chicken wings and stuff like that. It's weird. It's one of the few. I was talking about it last night with somebody after the gig, like with a couple of comedians, and I'm like, because they were, when I walked out after hosting the show, your man from behind the bar was googling me or whatever, because I kind of half know him, but he was googling my comedy and stuff, and he was showing the outlads who were sitting. Who the fuck is your man? Probably, but he started on my video channel. If you look up Tom O'Mahony, comedian on whatchamacallit on. You'll look and subscribe to my channel. You'll see my cooking videos that I've talked about. And they were all breaking their bollocks laughing, because of course I was cursing like a sailor through the whole thing around the bar, while I was cursing like a sailor on stage just 20 feet away through the wall. So they were loving it, the cooking videos. So But I was even explaining it, going, it's one of the few things that, and I mean, I don't know, like I had to explain then the whole premise behind ethical hunting and all the rest. But it's one of the few things I can switch off and just do. But I think I've worked out the whole cooking thing, why I like it so much, especially barbecuing. It kind of comes down to like, why do you like going to the cinema so much? You know, like as an example. And when you've gone, because you can watch films at home, and it probably comes down to the fact that you're able to eat like a pig in the dark and under no judgment. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's probably the real reason why you like it. And I think the real reason why I like barbecuing is because it goes hand in hand with just sipping beer all day, and it's probably just latent alcoholism. It's the reason why I like it so much. And that's probably the fucking reason why I like barbecuing, is because it goes hand in hand with drinking. That, and it probably makes you feel manly too, you know, if I'm honest. But that's it. That's what's coming up for the week. I don't know. I don't have my diary in front of me. I know I'm gigging in and around the place in the next few weeks. Next week. I know I'm in Dublin. I think a couple of nights like that. Check it out check me out at Tom_O'Mahony if you want on Twitter. Obviously the Buckshot Podcast, which is on Twitter as well. Buckshot Pod. Check it out. I post up typically when I am gigging and all the rest of it. But yeah, share the podcast and all the rest. On to our guest, John Colleary. Like I said, arguably one of the best club comedians in the country. Like I say, club comedians, because he just doesn't. John's one of those cool artists who kind of swings his hand at everything. He just loves the arts. Like John would be an amazing poetry reader, I would imagine. Unbelievable at impressions. I'm a musician as well, which we talk about in the podcast. But you recognise him from the Savage Eye, funny ads like Irish Pictorial Weekly. He's done a bunch of different. I'm trying to think of the other. He's been in the Hardy Bucks. He played the copper in the Hardy Bucks, cycling around on the bike. There's a bunch of things we didn't really get into because John's kind of one of them fellas who goes, fuck it, don't mind it. We actually did a film together, but we weren't on the same week. I think he played a school teacher last year. It was last year over in Offaly. This is a straight film too. This wasn't comedy or anything. I think there was to be a dark level of comedy to it, but there was no comedy in either one of our parts, which is gas really, like, you know, but kind of speaks volumes. Maybe we were better as just straight. I played a hurling coach, he played a teacher, and John actually got me the gig. But we've gigged together. John has got me more gigs. We talk about our foreign gigs that he got me as well, and just How the Bastard is just a ridiculously funny fucker. It was recorded, like I said, in the Patriot Inn, so it's a little bit noisy, and I apologise for that. We probably didn't get a chance to light up the podcast sound waves, but it's still a very enjoyable chat. And we'll be following it up because he's getting the draw for the old countryside again, because he's pure country. Like he's from Sligo himself. Like, so I think he's getting a notion of moving out to the countryside himself. I don't know, we might get into it a bit more when I see can I convince him when he comes out to the actual barbecue later on in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. We'll record and I'll release it maybe a couple of weeks' time, just to let a bit of time pass between it. So for now, I'll shut the fuck up, and please give it up for the fantastic John Colleary. I'm going to fire it up there. Well, I got that one myself, and Jerry got it for the Tom and Jerry show.
Oh, Jerry McBride.
McBride. Yeah. But it was what it was. We were just saying, like, we'd get a half-day's one because we wouldn't know where we'd be recording.
Yeah, sure,
you know what I mean? But the amount of times we recorded in the car driving to gigs. Good. I did it, like, I thought it. The Tom Green one was done, and it seems to kind of clean up the ambient sound around it, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, banging and clattering and stuff, but it is actually. So thanks very much for stopping in.
You're welcome.
How's your gig in Galway?
This gig in Galway is great, actually. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of mixture of people, and I like that, you know, tourists and local heads, and there's people from everywhere at that gig today. Like, there's people from the US, people from Canada, there was people from people from London, and then there was Welsh people, Germans, a couple of Spanish, a couple of Italians.
Jeez, you got to talk to everyone.
Yeah, there was quite a large cross section, but it was one of them nice little gigs that just worked, you know what I mean? And
the last time I was in the Stag's Head, it was I think it was for a competition or something. I can't remember what gig I was doing, but this fella comes up to me and says, "We're the old lad, big fan of yours. He was here the last time you were here as well. He's mad into you. Was I telling you this?
The old lad?
He was talking about his own old lad. Yeah. Jeez, that's gas. That's great to hear. Yeah. And he says, "Hey, this is him over here." And man, this fella comes up to me with a British accent, and he looked familiar, like.
Yeah.
I says, "Can I get you a drink?" I says, "Yeah, fucking can. Yeah, no bother." And he had this, I don't know, he had these immaculate teeth. That was one thing that started. I said, "Where do I know this fella from?" I said, after about 5 minutes in, the Irish in me was going to write it out and just go, "Jeez, I wonder where I knew that fella from." But I said, where? And he went, "Look at." He says, "Did you ever see Hello, Hello?"
Oh, okay.
I says, "Jeez, yes, I love that show." Turns out he was hair flick.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, his young fella was from, he's Irish.
Yeah.
Fierce, nice fella. Just only kind of at the end, though, I think he was kind of, his young lad was kind of suggesting that the old lad might be tipping the other way, like, and he was kind of asking, what am I up to later, like.
Oh, I see.
That's soundy, setting up the old man.
What flicks were they now? Were they the flicks from that used to run the cinema?
That's the one. You fucker. I was only talking about it recently. We were driving over. I'm going over to Castlebar tomorrow.
Oh, you doing the thing with Danny?
Gerard, just Danny's gig.
Johnny Jerry, yeah. It's great that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah.
But the last time we went over, I was over in Castlebar, I went over with you.
We did something for the college, was it GMIT?
Yeah, it was in a pub. It was in a strange pub.
Yeah, it was good
Hogs and Heifers or something was the name
something
of it.
like that.
Hogs Heaven.
Hogs Heaven. In a car park.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the gigs that you look back on. I mean, even if you became the biggest thing ever in comedy, you'd look back on them and say that was the best. They were the best.
It was. I'll tell you one thing. The drive, Dutchman, your impressions. You did a builder, fella. I had to pull the car over.
Yeah.
The builder that you used to work for.
Oh, there was a few of them guys, yeah.
But you gave the quintessential one. Just couldn't understand why you.
Yeah.
Where was he from?
Which guy was that?
He kind of a hint of a northern accent, and he whistled. Or was I thinking of the right fella?
Oh God, yeah.
He whistled when he talked.
Yeah, there was a guy called PJ who I worked with, and he had a wee whistle, and he was a country and western singer
as well.
As well at night, and I was going, not a country and western singer. He says, "I am," and he showed me his album, and he had a big smile on his face, and he had no teeth during the day, but he had these lovely teeth on the cover of the album. And then we drove around town one day on a half day because we ran out of muck or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we drove around the place, and he was put in his own. This is 1998 maybe.
Right.
And
was this in England?
No, this was in Dublin.
All right.
And he put in his own tape, a cassette tape into the car stereo and sang along to his own songs.
Wow.
Yeah, going around town.
What an ego.
Yeah, it's great though. And I used to work on that. I still pass by those houses just up off Dorset Street, and they still amaze me because they took about 40 bricklayers to build them. Because they were just, everyone threw their shovel at it or trowel at it, threw in the trowel after a while because they got fed up with it. The house was all over the place. Whichever way, too many people tried to build it, so it was all over the shop.
Right, yeah.
Blocklayers just got fed up with it after a day, a week, depending on how long they could take it.
Yeah, I got pulled into a few of them jobs to square up.
Yeah, just got
went down in Cork, and 3 different sets of builders had gone at it. As I said, it was described to me, Tom, this is completely langers. We're going to have to kind of rebuild a new building on top. It's already gone down. Like
that does happen, yeah.
And before we came on air, John. Came on air.
What happened? What happened before we came on air?
We were talking about music. You are a massive music man. Like you're more into your music than you are comedy, even though you're quintessentially known for comedy. Like,
well, funny enough,
because you played in the band, did you?
I did, and I still do actually. Myself and Gary Cook and a couple of real musicians have a little band on the go. We've only done one gig, but we've been rehearsing a bit, and it's kind of like there's a little bit of narrative in it as well as a little bit of interaction between us as arguments and
Oh, good.
mess
Yeah.
and trying to build something, and it's all punky covers, so the songs are energetic enough. And Gary is great fun. I mean, he's a quintessential frontman. Like, he really does take on the role, and he really does do the whole stage bit really well.
I can see him doing scissors kicks, David Lee Roth kind of stuff. Like.
Yeah, he's a bit like that. He's very showman-y, and it really works, and it's a lot of fun just watching him do that. You know what I mean? So, because we did this thing a few years ago, where we still do double act stuff now and then, but there was
it's cooking Colleary.
Yeah, that's right. And there was a bit in the set which was Gary doing Morrissey, that's from the Smiths.
I remember it at the Vodafone.
We did it at Vodafone, we did it in Kilkenny one year, we did it at a few other gigs, and Gary then stopped doing it. He didn't really want to do it because he felt the songs weren't kind of defined enough, but his impersonation of Morrissey and him doing it used to just do something to people.
I was just fucking howling.
It was just knocks you down. Like,
I was howling. It was just amazing. The dancing around the stage,
just the way he did Morrissey,
closing his eyes,
absolutely. And a man of his Dunphy-esque, Giles-esque stature, doing this Morrissey thing.
Yeah,
really kind of it broke the hearts of people in Kilkenny. People who hadn't laughed in 20 years,
just a cobweb.
Just laughing at him doing that.
Yeah,
because it brought out something.
I was way at the back even in that gig, and I remember just howling for the laughing. It was funny as hell. Oh my good God! And you were in another band. Was it a couple. Was it the 1, 2, 3s?
1, 2, 3, 4s actually.
The 1, 2. I beg your pardon.
There was 4 of us. I was 3. Jackie Hamilton was 1. No, Colin Murphy was 1. Jackie Hamilton was 2. I was 3, and Dermot Whelan was 4.
And has the 1, 2, 3, 4s?
It's the 1, 2, 3, 4s. We haven't done that in a while because it was difficult enough when we were kind of busy with it to get together, because 2 of us live in Dublin, 2 of us live in Belfast, and the 3 lads other than me have families and commitments, and it was really difficult to even get a rehearsal. So lately it's kind of gone off because Dermot's touring.
With the
Dermot's doing Dermot and Dave, and he's got a pile of other things going on, so he couldn't commit to it. Jackie was busy as well, so everyone's busy at different times of the year, and by the time you hit a patch where everyone's not busy, everyone's on holiday. So we just couldn't do it as much. Maybe it'll happen again. I'd like it to happen again, but it hasn't happened for a while. It's been off the chair.
Anything on the... What's the name of Gary and yourselves band then?
We haven't decided on a name yet, and we were using that as
to cook and Colleary.
Well, that was CNC. We were trying to get involved with audiences in terms of we had a list of names, and then we would, as part of the set, we'd start arguing about what's our name, what are we called?
Okay, right,
And Gary would say, we're called I'd say we're called Adam and the Uncles, and he'd say, I don't like that, and then argue about it and put it out, and then put it out to the audience. And then they'd go, ooh, or yay, and we call ourselves, that was the idea, that we call ourselves whatever the audience wanted to call us on that night.
It's hard to get in the poster.
That's what we call ourselves. I know, whatever the audience calls us tonight.
When did you start comedy then? You were working in the buildings in 1998.
I wasn't building, I was working for builders.
Yeah.
Which means you're not building.
No, you're not building.
You're just
making tea.
Making tea and filling mixers and cleaning mixers. Not Zoom mixers.
Yeah.
You know the ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, most of the people listening to this won't.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Well, I'd say 2002 or 3
in Dublin.
Late 2 or early 3 in Dublin. Yeah. And I did one in 1999. I lived in Sligo for 6 months, and we had a band in Sligo, me and a couple of friends. So technically, maybe I was doing it then, but that was a one-off thing. Where we all got together like a group, and we wrote a few parody songs, and we wrote a few sketches, and we put it all together for. I might have done 3 gigs in Sligo.
Right.
And then that was gone then.
Yeah.
It was 3 years later before we did it.
And now the first one, international, I'm guessing, was it?
No, it would have been the Halfpenny.
Was it?
Yeah. It would have been Battle of the Axe.
And did you know back then that you would be characterising the owner?
No. God,
You'd be writing to characterise
no, not at all, no. not a breeze.
But a fella like him, like, I mean, we were. That
was a gift, though.
Oh yeah, but the whole any place you go in the wild countryside, like where he's from in North Tipperary, like,
I'm sure you know more about his.
But he won't even call me by my first name anymore. He just calls me where I'm from. I'll walk in the door and he'll just go, "Well, bench it," and he'll just He knows my full name.
Cheap.
Well, cheap. Yeah.
Tipperary is like. I suppose it's like its own place.
It's a principality.
That's
like
what
it really
I'm thinking,
is. And like if you start to look into it, I guarantee you this pub we're in right now is probably owned by a tip fella. Mm-hmm. It's the most ludicrous thing.
Yeah, they own all the pubs. Them and Cavan.
Yeah. Was it the thing like if you didn't get the plot of land at home, go on away up to Dublin and get a fucking pub?
Like, buy a bar.
Because it was
run a pub, yeah.
It was actually Trace Ryan was telling me that there is an association almost like the Freemasons of the Tipperary businessmen's owners in Dublin. Yeah. They have a secret handshake in there, right?
That's funny.
They just say "man tip" and you're in the door.
That's funny because it is a pub mafia, isn't it?
Oh, it is a pub mafia,
and some construction as well, but mostly the pubs.
Yeah, well, even like where on Mickey's is mad. I'm stone mad about him for all the wrong reasons. Like, he's stone mad. And I remember we were in there one night and he says, I'd said to him, Tash, you have to meet this man because he is exactly as McSavage, you know, and even a bit more wilder nearly, like, you know, not in any way homophobic, but just... He comes over and we were dressed up for Halloween. We were going to that thing and Natasha was kind of a zombie, so her face was kind of grey.
She had black stuff on her.
He wandered over and he was like, well done. And he threw the arm around Natasha, this must be the good woman, is it? And he says, I don't want to sound racist. He totally mixed up what she was doing with the pitch. He thought she was just doing blackface.
Oh, God.
Right? And he went, I don't want to be racialist, he says, but as I always said, he says, the best bits of a woman are the pink bits, aren't they? And just whacked the counter and just wandered off. Yeah, and you're just going, my God.
That's him, all right.
And that was the experience she needed. She needed to see that for the first time. Like.
She got him on a good day.
Yeah. Every time I go in there, like she's selling the t-shirts and everything.
Yeah, I know that.
Tell Savage, I want my money.
That was his only problem. He didn't care about the portrayal.
But character, no.
It was the money. He said, why am I not getting any money out of that? Come here, is Max Savage still doing the thing with me? He'd be doing exactly what I'm doing now, crunching the beer mat. Is Max Savage still doing the thing with me? And well, he was annoyed about the money thing, and I thought, oh God, he's pissed off about how he's been portrayed, or he's pissed off that it's about him.
That man doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a rat's. It's money.
He came in one night. I was on stage in the International. Yeah. And he came in. He wandered in the door while I was on stage.
In the Inter.
In the Inter.
Oh.
And everybody's head, of course, looks straight to the door, which is stage right for anybody who hasn't been in the International. Listen to this. And your man goes, hold on, and just wandered off out the door again and down the stairs.
Yeah. Wanted to see.
Just nosiness.
Many people. You want to see many people.
That was all it was. He was off that night.
Yeah.
I said it to Trace a couple of weeks later, and she went, oh yeah, that's what's wrong with him. He's absolutely addicted to it. He normally works 7 days a week. And this is one night off, and he got up off the sofa, put on the coat, and went into town, driving around town to see what the numbers were like in around town.
I was doing that Inter one night, and some lad, he was 70 maybe, who wouldn't normally be up there. I was on the stage doing a bit, and this old fella's head popped round the doorway, and he looked at me and he said, "Is this comedy or music?"
I love it.
And I think I might have. I don't know what I said, but I
should have sang him an old
song. I'll sing you a song or something like that. But it was just his. You couldn't top what he just said.
But you'll remember that, like there's innocuous little moments too. Again, it was in the International one night, and nobody in a million years would be able to spot what I was able to see. You know, we all talk about it. Like the place could be rocking, but you'll spot that one fella with a straight face. Yeah. There was a couple about halfway down over on the side, sitting on the side wall, and they were laughing out of sync with everybody else. And I was doing a half an hour set. It was really throwing me. Yeah. And it was clear that, and you can't give out to somebody for laughing wrong. You know what I mean? Like, but it was throwing me, and right at the very end, they clearly had never been to anything live in their whole life. God bless them. Yeah. Right at the very end, as they're clapping you off. Thanks very much. Have a good night. Your man stood up and shouted, "Thanks, Tom."
Oh, so they knew who we were.
No, he just had established my name throughout the half an hour. But rather than giving a round of applause and joining in with everybody else, he felt he should stand up and say thanks very much. Do you know, it was just glorious moments like that.
That's fucking funny.
Have you had any dinners down through the years that'll stay with you?
Yeah.
Saw on stage.
Yeah. Laughing out of sync, I love that.
Yeah, you can't give out some.
We stopped them in a minute. Just one thing we don't want in here is individuals, okay? People with their own taste and ideas.
Get that out.
We want homogenous. We want big kind of bales of laughter tied up with string.
We did a gig one time in Longford. I don't know if you remember. It was in some fucking.
I was there.
Boom Village.
I'll tell you where that was.
Was it Longford?
It was Longford. It was outside of Longford, off the roundabout, the second roundabout. It was either Ballymahan, Ballinallee.
I think yes.
Or Granard.
No, it wasn't Granard.
No,
it wasn't Granard.
I think it was Ballinallee or Ballymahan.
It was a pure boom village.
Lewis was there.
Yes. Yeah.
You were hosting it.
Yeah.
And it was in a kind of a pub.
It was in a pub.
It was in a room at the back of a pub that was normally for functions.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it wasn't fancy. It was just poxy tables and white chairs. I remember there was white plasticky chairs that you would have. That were just gathered for it.
There was an outlet that he turned his back on you.
Did he? Yeah.
Do you remember that? No?
I think I remember something
he
about that.
He was half steaming, but he'd had enough of comedy at that stage.
Yeah, and you just spun around.
And you
didn't leave.
It was because you were too late.
Spun around.
You were on. You'd come up. You see, you'd be in the headline. You see, he was full up with comedy.
Yeah.
And what I loved is you walked around in front of him and just started doing it back to him.
Oh, did I?
You did, yeah. It worked well.
That's about. I don't know why I remember when that was, but I remember that it was 2011.
Jesus.
I don't know why I remember that, because I remember something about going on holiday about a few days later, and I remember where I went, and that was 2011, yeah. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Anne-Marie Lewis, and she runs a thing in Cork now.
Anne-Marie ran me, she used to, but she has a...
Rebels, yeah.
Yeah, but she now has an acting school for kids.
Oh, right, very good.
But she teed me up something fierce one time. I was going down to do her Rebels gig one time. She said, if you're down a bit earlier, would you do another gig for me out the road? And I went, well, yeah. Shoot Bob. No, not a bother. It was out in Douglas. Now I lived near Douglas for a few years. I couldn't think where it would be on. She said, no, it's just a little hall over here. I went, hall? I can't remember any hall. It was the ICA.
The CIA.
Oh my good Jesus.
Oh, man.
I walked in the back door. Apparently my head turned beetroot. I didn't know what to do. There was a fella playing a banjo on up on the stage, full of owl ones inside here. Full, like a good 180 owl ones. And the stage was about 8 foot tall as well.
Yeah.
And I had to go on after this fella doing the banjo, do 20 minutes. Oh, it was horrific. Like. I mean,
horrific is a great word.
Apparently it came across all right, but when you're being followed by a fella that was playing the spoons,
I know.
You know, I stayed on for the fella playing the spoons. He was good, like, in fairness, like.
That's class. Ireland is great. I tell you, just comes to mind. It's good that you're bringing all these silly gigs up, because there was one. It's not silly, but
this is mostly what my podcast
silly stories.
Stuff like.
And I tell you, I was doing a gig in Callan. Were you ever in Callan and Kilkenny?
I was.
It's not far from where you live, isn't it? It's not far from Tip Borders.
It would be Clonmel.
Yeah.
It would be on the road. Yeah.
So I was in Callan, and a friend of mine I went to school with is married to a woman from Callan. So he went down there with his wife and his brother-in-law and so on. And we went into this pub in Callan now, and the woman had rang me beforehand. She's a very nice woman. She was kind of 50s or maybe 60s, and she said, what do you need anyways? What do you need for going up on the stage? What do you need? And I said, well, just a microphone, you know, some kind of, just a PA, whatever. And she went, okay. And I just need a mic or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And I said, if you have a PA, I can bring a mic, you know what I mean? And she went, no problem. So I turned up anyway, and there was nothing.
Okay.
There was nothing. And she said, oh gee, I thought you were bringing your own mic. I said, well, I have a mic, but I don't have a PA. I don't have any kind of sound system. And she went, oh, wait a minute. And she came back about 20 minutes later with a tiny little, I'll tell you what it was a tiny little, you know,
for buskers.
New enough, not for buskers. It was more for a priest at a gravesite. It was one of them. It was a portable funeral kit. So she brought that in and said, this is what I have. And a radio mic. I think there was a radio mic in the end. And I can't remember whether we went ahead with that or not, but the room was small enough so they'd hear you anyway. I think we did. I think it worked okay because everyone was shouting a bit and the room was small. And it was a kind of a Callan Arts Festival. And my friend who's married to the woman from Callan, he said to me, "Did you go around Callan at all?" I said, "I didn't." He said, "You should go around and look at it." He said, they shot the film Breakfast on Pluto here. You know the one with Cillian Murphy?
Yeah.
He said they shot that here. And one of the main reasons they shot it here is because Breakfast on Pluto was set in the early 70s. Late 60s. He said they didn't have to change a fucking thing. He said it looks like it could be 1969 in this town at any given day. And I walked around and went, actually, you're right. It looks a bit dated. So we did the gig anyway, and there was a lad, I can't remember his first name, and he was, 50s as well, 50, maybe 60, and he was from Roscommon originally.
Right.
And he was living down there, and this is one great thing about Irish life is that there's always an arts festival and a committee in a town, and 95 to 99% of the people who are involved in the arts festival are not from that.
Yes,
town.
yeah.
They're always from somewhere else, right? If you have a gig in an arts festival anywhere in Tip or anywhere in... If you asked any locals, no. There's 80% of people who have moved there, and they do the art. They do the art community thing. So anyway, this was no exception, and he was there, and he was from Roscommon, and he was a guy that he told me his CV. He did some radio. When I came in the door, he went, "Up Sligo." But then when I started talking to him, he had quite a nice voice like that.
Okay, right, yeah.
So he told me he did some radio, and he worked on radio doing announcements for this and that and local radio, and he was from Roscommon, but he had this voice. So he was the MC. Right. So he used to get up, and he didn't do anything conventional that you and me be used to.
Yeah.
Like, how you doing, where you from, shut up, and all that crack. He was just going, "Our first performer is a comedian, and she is, or whatever he is, there's a few on before. He is or she is, and it's a very difficult medium to perform in stand-up comedy. So I would urge all of you to give them nice silence and applause as they perform their artwork for you."
Oh my goodness.
It was really brilliant. I was loving this.
That's amazing.
And then before he brought me on, he was talking away on stage with the microphone, talking about, "And our next comedian is our last comedian, and you may have seen him on such TV programs." And then he'd come off stage and go, "Up Sligo!" And as the Savage Eye and the Irish Pictorial Weekly. And then the woman that had the funeral mic came up to him with a bit of paper. Like a substitute, and handing a bit of paper to the ref.
Down from the...
And he went, "I have an announcement to make. The owner of car registration 02G 70457, please attend to it right away, as a buckraker has reversed into it, causing it some damage. Please attend to it right away. Thank you, Mary." A buckraker, a silage buckraker, he said. Brilliant. He said, "And now our final comedian."
That is absolutely.
And then I went on, and it was like 20 people here, kind of listening, and 8 lads at the bar who wanted to hear anything which I discovered that had anything to do with Kilkenny, Ireland.
Right, yeah.
So eventually I went, "How are you lads at the bar? Listen, fucking now, don't listen to old comedy. What about hurling?"
Yeah.
That's all they wanted to
Savages, yeah.
"Man the cats!" That's all they cared about. And it was fucking great, just great.
I did a thing, and I was actually thinking of you, that John would love this exact moment. It was down in Teep. I was probably a couple of months ago at this stage, and I was hosting. No, I wasn't hosting. I was judging a Stars in Their Eyes night, right? And it was to raise funds for the GAA, for the Burton Football Club.
All Stars in Their Eyes.
Yeah, all Stars. And it was myself, the ex-Tip goalkeeper Brendan Cummins, and Aisling Thompson, who currently plays for Cork.
Oh yeah.
And I had no idea, but the place was sold out. About 300 people in the room, and it's their second night selling out. And this was the final, shall we say? And I don't know, they had Lark Corbett or something I did the night before, but there was some that were amazing, really good singers, and there was other lads pulling the piss and everything, And it was every time they came to me for something funny to say, it was easy because it was clearly something silly had happened up on the stage, you know what I mean? But it was before, when I was being introduced on stage, there was 2 moments I knew you'd love the weirdness of the moments. There was this first moment I walked out on stage and the 2 Johnnies were hosting it, right? I know the lads well, and I walked out on stage chatting with the 2 boys. And they're going, so, Tom, what's the story with the nickname Bear, right? And I says, well, I'll tell you, Johnny, I got caught shitting in the woods one time, right? And everybody got it. Happy out, the show went on, everything else. About 3 hours later, I'm heading out. And the manager of the hotel was a nice devil now. But he'd be perplexed at things that you wouldn't normally get perplexed by. And he was sparking up an old cigarette as I was going over to the car, and he says, Tom, 1 minute there, sorry. Come here. The woods thing, was that real? I was like, this is... I said, you're a genius for a callback. But it wasn't. He genuinely was one. I said, no, that was off. But there was one of the acts that was on that night. This is the bit that you... So country, right? Because it was beautiful. There was an act on, they were Sister Act, right?
Yeah. All right, okay.
And a gang of outlads came out, and a couple of women were thrown in as well as nuns. And there was one of them
nuns,
was the Pope. But one of them had gone absolutely blackface.
Oh, Jesus.
But here's the brilliant thing. There was no level of racism in what he was doing. Like, nobody there. So, and like, that was... They had to have that character. Do you know what I mean? I was just going, oh my good God, you can't do the blackface thing anymore.
But you just can't.
But this was where we were. Yeah. There was, if you'd asked that fella, I guarantee you would have tried no problem with black lads. Do you know what I mean? This would have been, and this is the entire room's head. Because I said it afterwards when it came back to me, because they kind of did a thing where they dropped things out of their habits as well. And I came back and went, I'm not sure how many different parts of society you've just offended. As first the Catholic Church, probably feminists as well would be a little upset. And the blackface lads. And that was the bit. Everybody was laughing at the first 2 bits. The last bit was like, what?
No, what's all about? Yeah, what are you talking about?
There has to be a Whoopi Goldberg in there. And we don't have a black person in care. So, do you know, it was just like, he'd only curled his hair. That's as much, you know what I mean? He saw nothing. But I almost think that...
It's funny that the town name, though.
Care, yeah.
He's in Care.
Spain got caught with that one night.
After Care.
He got caught.
It's after Care.
He got caught rotten with that one night in Clonmel.
Yeah.
That he actually asked the girl, I don't know, was he hosting or whatever, but he asked the girl, she was really quiet.
Where's she from?
And she was keeping her head down. She was like, go away. And her friends went, she was raised in Care.
Yeah.
And he went, oh my God. Because Spain would be quite softy, you know what I mean? He went, oh God, I'm sorry. And he went, wait, Care all right, Care the town. Yeah.
He would have been the other way around, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If she said, I'm in Care. Jeez, that's a kip. No, I'm actually in residential care. I know the nicer part of it. That's the nicer part of Care, residential.
He was telling me that one night he was. Paul Marsh, you know Paul?
I do, yeah, of course.
Paul would
Teep.
know every Teep. He's from Ardfinnan, he out that way.
He had a gig in a pub down there.
A cracking gig. O'Mahony's, the two.
O'Mahony's,
the man that owned the two is the only other Tom O'Mahony I've ever met.
That's right. And we did that. I did that with Paul.
It was a great night.
And it was great fun. And believe it or not, Al Porter hosted that.
Did he?
Yeah.
And Al's headlining here tonight in the Patriot Inn.
Yeah. And he hosted that gig, and he was literally, I think that was about 2013 maybe. 14.
He would only been at it probably
6 months maybe.
6 months.
Maybe a year.
Because in 13 we were in the New Comedy Awards finals together.
Yeah. It would have been 13, 14.
Jesus. But Paul was saying Paul's brother he collects dead animals.
What is he?
He's actually an actor.
Dead and worn out.
But he's actually his trade would be an actor.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean, and he's known as an actor marsh because that's his job. He collects. You have a dead animal. He comes out and gets it. And one night inside the International, there was a girl. My voice just, as I said it, my voice just broke.
Must be 15 now, Tom.
And this girl was sitting in the front row. Carl started talking to her, and he says, "Where are you from?" She says, "I'm from Ardfin." So he says, "I know somebody from." He says, "You're not related to the Marshes, are you?" I said, "I am." Yeah. He goes, "Oh, you're not the Knacker Marshes' daughter, are you?" Now to say that inside the international, but anywhere really, like, but. It was almost a tongue-in-cheek thing. Is that well, it is a professional name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, to say what he is, but to say it out loud.
Believe it or not, it was my girlfriend who pointed out to me what the word meant. What the knacker's yard, right? Something to do with what's the actual?
What's the process that they do?
Not the process, but there's something to do with when a horse or an animal is knackered. Something to do with physically, something to do with their genitals or like that.
Okay, right.
There's some process and there's something.
It's part of the decomposing.
No, it's part of animals when they're
bollocks.
when they're finished as work animals, or when they're finished
Okay, right.
knackered.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it.
It'll be staged just before stud, kind of like. I
I
suppose.
have to look it up again, but Emma explained it to me one night, and I was going, okay.
The amount of people I'm after telling up north, because I gig up north a fair bit, I'm after telling about the nugget of information you gave me about where the name Hillbilly came from.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a lad.
They didn't know that.
No.
Really?
Aaron McCann, who is a great comedian. His dad is he's a big shot in the kind of country radio singing up there, and he was going, "Just my old man." He'd be big into the swing dancing. You know what I mean? Not the swing, but jive dancing. And I was explaining it because I was said you do culture up here like we could only dream of down south.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
There's almost a level of shame to be
Especially
a culture.
Tyrone.
Yeah, which is where he's from.
Yeah.
But down here, there's nearly a small level of shame for being right country, unless you're rightly
It's the
immersed
norm
in it.
up there. Like
It's
a standard.
it's a standard, like, and there's nothing weird about it.
No.
Going to 2 or 3 dances on a Saturday night, like,
No, they're proper. And the youngsters as well. I mean, see that, what do you call it?
Stetsons and stilettos.
See those young...
The pride, like.
17-year-old girl from somewhere in Tyrone, and she's going on about her tractor and how...
She didn't give a shit. She makes me talk about Justin Bieber. She loved that tractor.
She was saying, like, the colours of her are important. If she's not red, keep her in the shade.
If she's blue, that'll do.
That'll do. Oh God, I love her. I polish her up now. Amazing.
It was
Totally amazing.
Fascinated. But you know what? There's I was watching. I actually tweeted, and I think it was when the show producer made contact with me saying thanks very much, because I said it's actually refreshing to see the level of absolute commitment to it, where people have been nearly sneering at him, but they didn't give a bollocks. But the whole, just give me a quick recap on the hillbilly thing again.
Well, as far as I'm aware, and Pat McDonald will back you up on this.
Good, he's on next. He's on the podcast next.
He's the best historian there is about everything. But hillbillies are supposedly, because so many Ulster Protestants went to the United States first.
The pilgrims, like.
Yeah, pilgrims and settlers, and they went planted in
Virginia.
southern states and farmed. And I mean, I think the second or third, I'm not sure which president, Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson, yeah.
His dad was
Wiped out a lot of Indians.
Yeah, his dad was an immigrant from Northern Ireland.
That would make sense, Jackson. Yeah.
So
Same as Michael Jackson.
They had more of a grip on society by the time the great famine, unwashed Irish came along. You know what I mean? So that was the biggest obstacle that the Irish from the famine met over there. Was your
Ulster
first generation Ulster Irish?
Right.
Yeah. And they were landowners and farmers and planters and so on. And I don't know whether it was, maybe it was the War of Independence and the whole 18th century conflicts and George Washington and so on, that the Williamites took to the mountains in the Appalachians.
Right, that makes sense.
That makes
Yeah.
Hillbillies. That was
the Williamites. Yeah.
That's technically, or that's roughly what it is. But there could be more.
And of course, they brought folk music to the hills with them.
All that banjo picking is supremely Protestant.
Of course,
It's a very Protestant activity in terms of trad music.
Yeah.
You know, only it's only kind of partially part of Irish trad.
Yeah.
Irish trad's much more fiddles, boxes, maybe mandolins, but mostly fiddles and guitars and a squeeze box.
Right, yeah.
Whereas Ulster folk was always much more banjo orientated.
The banjo is an angrier fucking instrument too, though.
It's a different instrument. It's more of a marching call as well.
Right, yeah.
So that's roughly. I think.
That's it official, John.
There's more details to it than that. That's kind of roughly.
I'll fill in the other bits with Pat and all the
Pat
rest.
will tell you all about that. And he might go, no, that's wrong. He didn't get that right. But he probably, that's.
I love a good drive with Pat.
Oh, Pat's great.
When Pat winds up and starts getting angry, there's nothing better. Like he starts winding up. And I want you to do this with Pat the next time you have him in the car. Have something up on the dashboard.
Have what?
Have something up on the dashboard. Anything.
Like a teddy.
Anything, even innocuous, a piece of paper. He'll take it down.
Of course he will. Yeah, he'll clean up.
He can't leave it up there. He can't. It has to come down off the dashboard. Because there was a month or two there I was driving with no tax and I had a letter saying it was on the way because it was a car I was after bringing in or whatever. And I did about 6 gigs in a row with Pat, and every single evening he'd take the letter down.
Where did he put it?
He just put it down beside him.
Alright, okay.
And I couldn't. I didn't have the heart to go. No, Pat, that kind of needs to be up there. All right, fuck it. It's all right.
Focused on it. He's doing his head in.
You're gigging tomorrow night at the Vodafone?
Oh God, yeah. Today's Wednesday, isn't it?
Today's Wednesday.
Okay, that's grand.
We're okay.
Go to sleep tonight.
No, I'm in the same boat. I can't remember dates or anything.
No, it's gone. It's just dates. I can do dates all week, all year.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, the 24th of something. I go, yeah, I can be there for that, or I was there, or I will be there, or no, I can't do that. But days and
forget about
last week.
Bollocks.
What date was it?
Yeah.
It was the 24th. Oh, I was in so and so.
Are you picking up? Did you buy a van? Did you say?
I bought a.
Because you've been hinting at buying a van
before.
I
bought a camper van.
Did you?
I bought a converted Transit, mid 90s, 1996.
Windows.
Transit.
Has she windows?
It has windows. It's a fairly basic job, but it's a hell of a thing. I'm really happy I bought the thing.
Class.
And it wasn't expensive. It was not like...
Where did you pick it up?
I bought it off a fella in Tala.
Right.
And I see him still selling a few, the odd one. He does them up, So it needed a bit of work for getting through a test this year, and that's fair enough because I paid cheap. I paid under the odds for it. I knew that I was paying under the odds for it.
So you made a contingency.
I kind of knew why as well.
Yeah.
But it's very enjoyable. The best thing about camper vans is that, and I thought it would be like, you go anywhere you want and you stay over and you wake up. The nicest thing about it is driving it.
Really?
The minute you sit in that thing, you're on your holidays. It doesn't matter if you're going from here.
I get you. Yeah.
Whatever the vibe is,
it's
completely holiday. It's totally calms you down.
It is novel.
You could be wound up in your head.
Yeah.
You sit in that van. Once you hit the M50, it's all.
Because I
completely forget.
I'm trying to find, because I was up in Belfast over the weekend working up there, right? And I've never in all my life seen the amount of caravans.
They're big on that.
But it's the British vibe, like they have it's an infrastructure there. But Jesus Christ, like, I mean, but in my head I was going, why would you buy a caravan, pull the guts out of your fucking car, drinking diesel? Why wouldn't you go get a camper?
I suppose.
Do you know, all in one, like?
I reckon the reason behind that is that someone would get a bigger, more habitable caravan,
right,
for half the money that you pay for a decent camper van.
Okay.
Camper vans, what I've got is the cheapest of the cheap.
Right.
It's a few grand. It's not, and that's cheap for them. But you can go all the way to 100k.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean the things you see nipping around during the summer with like English plates on them.
Yeah.
There's nothing under 50 grand.
Fuck me.
Do you know what I mean? They're a house on wheels.
Jesus.
You could basically go and get a mortgage on one of those things if you want, or get a house loan, or get a home improvement loan, and make that your home.
And what's your plan with it? Are you going to take it off around the country?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Going to Europe?
I haven't been to Europe yet, but I would like to. Yeah, the opportunity hasn't come up, and.
But you could just put the smoke signals up and get a couple of gigs around it. But you got me.
You
got me in the door in Belgium.
Yeah, and I have something more with. I might even use it in October with Joe Egan. I'm going to. it's just that wee bit awkward if there's more than one gig, because you have to drive to the next place, the next place, and it's not that easy to park. It's not going to go through under every barrier.
Right, yeah.
You have to get a ferry. Ferries are expensive. They're crazy expensive.
I know what you're
One
saying,
person.
yeah.
But I'm doing Edinburgh. I'm not doing Edinburgh. I just booked. I booked a van park for about 4 or 5 nights over there. So I'll just hit the ferry at Larne.
That's a class drive.
Just drive from Larne or Stranraer to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And then just kip over there for a few days, or maybe even drive up the Highlands one of the days. And that's it.
It's a class drive.
Yeah.
The Highlands, Jesus, yeah. But you've done Brussels as well, haven't you?
I've been in Brussels a few times.
Did you do the? Of course you have.
I've done it.
You've done it at least 3 times.
I've done it at least 3 times. I did it first in 2015.
Right.
I did it in 15. I did it in 16 twice, and I did it this year.
Right.
I've done it 4 times.
And did you go up the road to?
I did
Antwerp as
I
well.
did Antwerp the last time.
Some shine up those people, isn't there?
I like that place.
Huh?
I do
There's
like
money up there, like.
I do like the difference between French-speaking Belgians and Flemish-speaking Belgians.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
But they speak kind of Dutch up there.
It's
I suppose Flemish, yeah, is a form of Dutch.
Flemish is, yeah.
But the night I was there but that was lovely. Like,
Yeah.
the night I was in whatchamacallit, Xavier brought me on or whatever, had a lovely gig, and my brother-in-law had come at the time as well, and he knew a couple of English-speaking lads that he was mates with, and then they brought 1 or 2 lads that they kind of knew as well.
Yeah.
This fella came, he was a UKIP representative.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And was I telling you about this fella?
No.
Small little body fella, pinstripe suit, over the top tie, the whole lot.
Yeah.
He looked like the character. Do you know your man that Dame Edna plays?
Yeah.
He looked like that character. He plays the
Les Patterson.
yeah, he plays
the
the angry Australian
fuck me, you've forgotten his name.
right-wing fucking politician. I knew you'd.
What was his name?
No, was it?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've forgotten.
But he comes up to me, Liverpool accent.
Yeah.
He comes up and he goes,
All right.
"Hey, can I buy you a drink?" I says, "Yeah, you can, no bother." And your man behind the bar was like, "Tom's getting 3 pints, so
Yeah, you can't buy
you
it.
can't buy him one." Like, but anyway, she man says, "Can I just fucking a big handshake out, tie flopping everywhere." His floppy hair was flopping everywhere. He says, "Can I just fucking shake your hand?" I said, "Jeez, you can, yeah, no bother. What's your own name?" And he introduced himself anyway, and he says, whatever his position was with UKIP. I don't know where the MPs or what they are with UKIP anyway, but he was their European representative. Like, I said, alright, he just can't fucking say, "I really like your style." I went, "Oh, right." And I was questioning myself, and he goes, I said, "Come here. No offence,
what
but
element of it do you
what
like?
element is my..." He goes, "I just like your fucking... You've got a way about you. Fucking nobody's heckling you, man." I went, "Yeah, but almost nobody in here speaks English as their first language.
Yeah.
They weren't going to be heckling me anyway." Like, but he says,
polite people as well.
But he says, so we sit back down at the table. He butts in beside us anyway. There's about 6 of us there at this stage. We sit through. John Hastings is on next. And I says to Xavier, I said, "I'm going to have a drink with my brother-in-law." I said, "No bother, his keys. Meet you up afterwards." Your man says, "I'll tag along." So we went to a bar over across the road, and your man comes in. He wouldn't let anybody out with UKIP credit card. Paid for everything. Another meal, paid for everything. The whole fucking works. Next thing his spin doctor's over, right? He's this will tell you how bullshit the whole thing is, right? In politics. His spin doctor is a northern fella, Herman.
Northern Ireland?
Northern Ireland. Herman.
Yeah.
About the size of a fucking house, this fella, monstrous man. He says, "Ray, I'd like to talk to you there, Tom. Private." Like, I went, "Jesus, this sounds dodgy." So the 2 of them were kind of around me. I said, where are you from?" And he tells me, he says, and Herman, and his surname was Kelly. This is just kind of, "Are you not Republican?" Because a lot of my family, my house was actually known as a safe house. But a couple of my family actually did time in, and I went, "Oh, but how come the 2 of you are together?" And they just kind of started smirking. I said, "Politics is just bullshit, isn't it?" And he went, "Don't tell anybody. Yeah, it's all horseshit. We're out here for the payday." They were on massive money. Your man puts it to me then. He says, "The reason why I wanted to talk to you, Tom, was to see if you consider being a writer for me." I went,
A writer?
A writer for him, yeah.
Speeches.
I went, "But none of my rhetoric would be..." He goes, No. We put our own fucking spin on it. you just get the fucking ball rolling with your bravado. I'm like, he goes, we have money in the coffers. I went, that's alright, well, let me have a think about it. Like, and now he kind of contacted me again since, and nothing more has come from it, because UKIP is kind of dispersed now or whatever, but I had notions of seeing could I write and maybe start slipping in Republican things. Yeah. See, could I get him to phonetically say Chucky Carlaw?
Oh, UKIP.
You haven't had any experiences?
UKIP. What's that?
Have you had any experiences of the sort?
In
Europe when you...
lots of funny stuff over there. That time in Antwerp, actually, there was a lad sitting at the bar, and he was. It was a difficult enough little gig, and
it can be because
there wasn't that many there. There was 20 people there, and
right.
It was a little bit sedate and a little bit. They're not as good as English is not the first language, and it takes a bit of time. You have to kind of.
Yeah.
So it was going kind of okay. I was getting a few laughs and doing okay, but there was a fella at the bar, and I talked to him a couple of times. He was a young guy. He was with his girlfriend. He was 20-something. And we talked about... I said something about Dutch people. I said something about the Netherlands. What do you think of the Netherlands? So I tried to get a feeling of... And the man was, "You're bastards. They are bastards. They've taken all the ports. They've taken everything. They are bastards. I hate the Dutch, you know." I was going, yeah, fair enough. Great. So everything he said then was... And he was funny because he was helping.
Right, yeah.
He kept going back to me, kept saying, "Bastards!" And everyone laughed, you know, so that was
okay,
cool.
Good.
Bit of a... But in the end of it all, he said, "Hey, man, I say, fuck them." I said, "Hey, what's your name?" My name is, Kevin. He said, what do you do for work? "I work for the UN." And the whole fucking place just laughed for 2 minutes solid. I said, "Conflict resolution, is it?" And then he laughed. And they laughed more, you know what I mean? It's those little moments that just help you as well, you know what I mean? Because when you're in a foreign country, sometimes it's hard to get that purchase in a room. You know, when you're in Ireland and you can just twist your face certain ways and say certain things, you know people are going to recognise it.
They recognise the references.
Oh yeah.
You're alright. I was doing one with PJ, that if anybody's wondering, there, a gentleman was nicely collecting glass, but we were doing one with PJ a couple of weeks ago, and it was inside Flanagan's. You know, Flanagan's up in Camden Street.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, and we were in the bit that wasn't going to be open till about 10 o'clock that night, and there was a nice lady. She was running the place inside there. She's called Hannah. She made us coffee for nothing.
Yeah.
She goes, "You work away inside there now, that'll be fine." But Hannah had her niceness was finite. There was an hour limit on it.
Okay.
In the meter, it would seem like. We didn't turn on any lights or anything. Like, we went in there and sat over there, and she came up, turns up bang on the 55-minute mark, and she had no clue what a podcast was or anything like. She just turns up, walks right up beside me, going, "Are you done, lads?" And I was going to cut it out, but I just thought, no. I'll give it a heads up at the beginning of the podcast. It was just a beautiful moment of, "I've been nice now, but it's time for you to fuck off because I've cleaned this place." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Podcast.
So yeah, I don't want to.
It's a podcast.
I don't want to keep you for the evening. We'll get it.
What time is it now?
It's 7:15.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, anybody looking? Well, this will be out tonight. So if anybody hears it in the morning, which most people,
if anyone hears it in the morning,
you'll be in the Vodafone.
I hope the traffic isn't too bad.
You'll be in the Vodafone Thursday night.
I'll be in the Vodafone tomorrow night.
Have you anything else you want to promote?
No. I don't promote anything. I'm not a promoter.
You're not?
No.
There's still a memory that still sticks in my mind of the first time I did Edinburgh. You were doing Edinburgh the same year.
Oh yeah.
And we were flying.
2012.
Yes, Natasha was flying with me, and the next thing you just stood up beside Natasha and just pulled up your shirt.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it?
It's
exposure.
every single. That'll be here again on Facebook because you know your memories pop up.
Yeah, that's
it will pop up, and it's just John Colleary.
Oh man.
Because you're one of the hairier people from the West. It's a Western thing.
I've grown out of that now.
Showing off your hairiness?
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah,
it's fine.
People want more of it.
Maybe they do. But there's too much more of it. That's the problem. There's far too much of it.
Not enough.
When your belly's falling out, you know what I mean? You're getting on, you know what I mean?
We'll stick a fork in it, John.
We'll stick a fork in it, done. She's done.